Hey guys, David here and welcome to my second installment of my picks and predictions for the 85th Academy Awards for 2013. In this episode I'll be talking about the screenwriters, arguably the most underrated contributor to the filmmaking business. Starting with Best Original Screenplay or Screenplay written directly for the screen. The nominees are Michael Haneke, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, for Amour, Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained, John Gatins for Flight, Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola for Moonrise Kingdom, and Mark Bow for Zero Dark 30. This is an interesting mix because out of all these screenplays, all of them struck this, pattern in which even though this movie was really well scripted, really well written, it still had its flaws. So it's really hard to point out a pick, let alone a prediction. So I'm going to go ahead and say that in terms of originality and just creativity, I will have to give my pick to Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola for Moonrise Kingdom. However, when it comes to dialogue, which is arguably the most difficult aspect of the script writing business, I will have to give it to Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained. Both had its flaws, with Tarantino's Django Unchained having the most flaws, in which, if you guys have not seen my review, in my review I say that I pretty much adored the first hour or so of the film, and then once Leonardo DiCaprio's character gets introduced, I don't know, it just started to wane a little bit for me, and it became a little uneven where I enjoyed the first half more than the second half. So, and Moonrise Kingdom, I really love that movie, but there are a couple of things that I don't really like about it, particularly really out there things happen towards the end that I was like, where did that come from? So even though they're both flawed, I will have to say that in terms of originality and dialogue, I will have to split my pick in between those two. As for my prediction, if the Golden Globes is anything to go by, I will have to say Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained. He may be taking home his second Oscar for screenwriting. However, at this point, I think it's anybody's game. Now on to Best Adapted Screenplay, also known as screenplay based on material previously produced or published. The nominees are Chris Terrio for Argo, Lucy Alibar and Ben Zitlin, I can't pronounce his last name, for Beasts of the Southern Wild, David McGee for Life of Pi, Tony Kushner for Lincoln, and David O. Russell for Silver Linings Playbook. Honestly, right off the top, Chris Terrio for Argo. That's my pick. I enjoyed the dialogue, the way the characters were written. Almost no character is unlikable, with the exception of the Iranians, but you know what was going down. And I think it's one of the most difficult things to write such a suspenseful ambience. All credit is due also to Ben Affleck for directing these scenes, but in terms of writing suspense, that takes a whole lot of effort and a whole lot of dedication in order to make sure that this scene plays out right and these characters, again, are likable. The dialogue is really snappy, and when it's supposed to be humorous, it's humorous. When it's supposed to be dramatic, it's dramatic. And this movie hits all those points. Now, will the Academy pick it as its winner? It has a significant chance. However, the Academy loves their period pieces, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go the other way to Tony Kushner's screenplay for Lincoln. Both screenplays indulge themselves into politics, and that's huge Oscar bait. Plus, one of the most positive things about these screenplay categories is that they're split up into two, original and adapted. So for those who didn't have a chance of winning screenplay back in the Golden Globes and other awards, they have an even higher chance by winning in this respective category, whereas, Chris Terrio has a higher chance of winning Best Adapted Screenplay, even if Quentin Tarantino wins Best Original Screenplay. So it manages to double the chances for almost every nominee, being the fact that there's technically 10 screenplay nominees, only split up into two categories. And that wraps up episode 2. Tune in next time, in which I'm going to start talking about some of the acting categories. And as always, take care.